Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hi, I'm Jason, with Jason Pollock. I am not Jason. Join Jason and Justin back in the green room as they talk with some of their favorite folks from the entertainment industry. And now, the man you haven't been waiting for, Jason Pollock!
I'm so sorry about that close-up. That was horrifying. But Melissa, thank you for filling in for Justin, who could not be here today because he's working his music career. But thank you. Melissa Marino is my co-host, everybody. Yay, Melissa. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Jason. I'm very excited to be here.
You're a local legendary radio personality, aren't you?
Local, yes. I don't know how legendary.
In the Philly area, you have a fan.
Yeah,
or
I'm
two, maybe even
fan,
two.
I hope.
You are. You absolutely are. And before we bring out our guest, you know what? We got to bring our guest out because this guy's so gracious with his time. I feel like I've known him my whole life, even though if he wasn't a legendary pop culture icon, that would be kind of creepy if I said that. So we're going to bring him out. You might know him as Potsy from everything in the 70s. Please give a nice welcome to Anson Williams.
Hey there.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
You are my childhood, Anson. Thank you for being here.
Well, you know, I feel so honored to be a part of it. Yes.
Oh, and I found this picture. I don't know if you remember this. What is that noise?
I don't know.
Is there a blob somewhere? Okay.
Okay.
I
Do we have an uninvited guest?
I don't know. Okay. Bobby's doing a mic check right now. I think we're invaded by aliens. Bobby, our producer's here.
Yes, I'm sorry. I think it is when I mute Anson, it goes away.
All right. Well, we won't talk to Anson then.
yeah,
All right, let me see if I can make some adjustments. I'll see what I can do, but go ahead.
Anson, I don't know if you remember this from 2003 or 2. That was a chiller. Remember, I was the guy who you took a picture with, the one guy.
Oh yeah, you mean the one person that showed up the whole weekend? Right.
Right.
That.
I got to tell you, I was so excited to meet you two, and then you left. I left, and you did not disappoint. You and Donnie Most were so, like, that was who you were. Were those characters you played true to life, true to who you actually are?
Actually, no. Especially Donnie. If you knew Donnie, well, he's a very serious guy, and he's such a good actor. He played the comedy, but that's not his natural self. He's very quiet, kind of.
So in your public persona, you were
I'm a little more out there. But no, we're not really the characters, but I think we're the heart of the characters. We care about people. We love people. During Happy Days, Gary Marshall, our mentor, who created the show, hired us. He was all over us to keep our egos in check, to be responsible, to take advantage of being on a hit show and learning other areas of the entertainment business. He kept us very grounded, very down to earth. And he said, your audience is making you famous. You've got to love them, respect them, and honor that. And also Ron Howard, who was already a star, was very, very down to earth and incredibly just non-egotistical. And so between Ron and between Gary, we never got big for our britches, and we honestly, cared about people. Gary would tell us that, you're gonna be famous. You're gonna be famous, and there's gonna be other people that aren't famous, but they got good things to say. You got to give them, bring them in, let them share that because they know you. Bring attention to them, that they wouldn't get otherwise. So that kind of put us in the charity field, and really using our platform not for ourselves, but for just positive things and using it for productive situations.
That's such an amazing attitude. It's so cool to hear that Gary Marshall even said that to you.
Oh yeah, big time.
I mean, it really is, because you don't really hear about that much anymore. I mean, you do get
I know.
celebrities
Well,
just
it's a little different. Back
themselves.
then, there weren't 80 million networks, and you had to really go through a lot of hoops and take a lot of risk and do a lot of training and have some God-given gifts that and these days you don't have to. You can have a little bit of a personality, a quirk, this or that, and all of a sudden you're famous. There's 50 million people that love you, and without a lot of work, without a lot of effort, other than smart marketing. Back then, I mean, we were entertainers. We learned our craft. We spent years learning our craft. We spent years, taking risk, and it was a whole different time. And I don't know. There was much more humanity to the business, I feel, back then. Today, I feel a lot of coldness, a lot of spoiled people. A lot of very self-involved
even the
people.
charity work sometimes seems contrived.
Me first kind of people, and people who are they're like getting a lot of attention. They're earning a lot, but it's like too many Big Macs. It's fast food. It's not good for you.
There is a huge amount to choose from. It's so competitive, this field we've chosen, but I think it's another reason why it's so good to be easy to work with and just likable all around.
Yeah. Well,
and plus, I was reading about you, and you seem like you've been. I know it sounds so weird to say that about people, but I was reading about you. I don't say that to everybody who's not a pop culture icon, but you come off as such a naturally good person. You've done a lot of charity work. You're a what's the word I'm looking for? Philanthropist?
Yeah, I guess. Well, in philanthropy, yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's not just me. It's just very interesting on Happy Days. Donnie Most, Henry Winkler, Ron, myself, Gary Marshall, Marion Ross. I don't know. Everyone has the same heart. All these people give before they take. They really do. They're honestly really good people that care more about others than themselves. And again, that came from Gary and Ron. So yeah, we're good people. We care, and we will look for opportunity to better this world in any way we can. So there's a story here. A lot of people don't know, but the Heimlich maneuver.
Yes.
But what people don't realize, it's not just me that was involved. It was the entire creation of Happy Days was involved. And I think without Happy Days, I don't know if it would have exploded, into the societal platform the way it did. And
that's your uncle, right?
Yeah, but I'll tell you the story. He's actually my second cousin, Dr. Heimlich, but I called him uncle ever since I was born. And he's passed away, but we were very close, very good friends for decades. And what people don't realize is this. Dr. Heimlich was having a very, very hard time getting the Heimlich maneuver out to the public. He would get little regional PR and this and that, but he's having a difficult time getting it to a wide range of people because he had problems with the Red Cross. There were political problems. And there was a lot of corruption with the Red Cross at the time. And Dr. Heimlich kind of exposed this. And there was a real rift between he and the Red Cross. And the Red Cross not only refused to promote the Heimlich maneuver, they tried to make it like a non-entity. Like, no, you got to slap on the back. This is not right. This doesn't work. And he was having a very difficult time getting past that. And he was on the set of Happy Days one morning visiting. And thankfully, it was a day where I got off early. But I was on the set, and Hank's there, and there's a phone call on the set from the Merv Griffin show. And I had done the Merv Griffin show a few times before that. And someone had dropped out for that night's show. And they asked if I could quickly replace that person. So I thought to myself, wow, this might be a good opportunity to introduce Dr. Heimlich to Merv and maybe get the Heimlich maneuver on the Merv Griffin show, a national show. I mean, it was pretty ignorant of me, but I thought, I'm thinking maybe, you know? So I said, absolutely. So they said, you'll sing a song and then Merv will interview you. I go, great. So I tell Dr. Heimlich, he goes, great. I said, come on, we'll go down. Maybe we can make this work. I run back to my place, get ready, get my charts. We go down to the Merv Griffin show. And I asked to see Merv, but he's busy. Okay. I rehearsed the song, and Merv's still busy. They're interviewing me for the show, like what you're going to talk about and all that. He's still busy. We never got to talk to Merv. So I thought, well, we gave it a try. They put Dr. Heimlich in the audience, and the show started. And I wasn't first out. I might have been second or third. I don't remember. But so I sing the song, and then there's this break while they sit you next to Merv, and they're doing a commercial. Well, I did the elevator pitch. I talked about Dr. Heimlich, the Heimlich maneuver. Merv said, wait a minute, wait. I thought I read something about that. Tell me. So I explained very quickly what it is. He goes, very interesting, very interesting. And Dick Carson, who was Johnny Carson's brother, was the director of the Merv Griffin show. He didn't even know this was happening. So commercial's over, lights go up, and he says, I was talking with Anson. Is there a Dr. Heimlich in the audience? Dr. Heimlich stands up. He interviews him in the audience, has him come back on stage, does the Heimlich maneuver on Merv. It blows up. It just blows up. All of a sudden, people's lives are saved that night.
That's amazing.
The booker for Carson happened to have seen the show, puts him on the Tonight Show 3 weeks later, and forget about the Red Cross. Forget about it. Bam! It was all over the country. And everyone wanted to interview Dr. Heimlich and Hank. However, if it wasn't for Gary Marshall creating a Happy Day show, casting me, casting Ron, I don't know if it ever would have happened. So
oh my God, it was the whole chain of events.
Part of the Heimlich maneuver, and the
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, because it's so embedded in everyday society now. I mean, that
yes.
Somebody choke, and the first thing you do is, okay, who knows the Heimlich?
You bet. It's part of society. But
wow.
Happy Days and Gary Marshall and so much more, they're all part of that. It all echoed toward that moment in time.
That's unbelievable.
It all came together.
So you never know what goes on behind the scenes. I mean, you watch the show and you say, okay, here's today's events.
We didn't know you were saving lives.
Exactly. Yeah, who knew behind the set?
Then that all
concoction to save people.
There you go.
I was looking at your credits with my wife. I said, oh my God, I didn't know Anson Williams was on Baywatch. Then it occurred to me, well, he knows the Heimlich maneuver. What a great show to use the Heimlich maneuver on.
Let me tell you that I wasn't here's the thing. I was directing a lot of TV. Frank South, who was the exec producer of Melrose Place with Aaron Spelling, he gave me a break. I was hired to direct Melrose Place, a lot of the episodes. So I owed him a marker. So years later, he's exec producing Baywatch Hawaii. And I'm saying, I would never do that. I get this call from Frank South. I need you, Anson. What? I need you. Damn, I'm calling in the marker. So I had to go back there and direct six episodes of Baywatch, right? Hawaii, which is exhausting, by the way.
I couldn't imagine.
Cars crashing in the water. It was like a James Bond movie. I'm like, oh my, what happened to like a bed and people on the bed? What does this go under tanks, under the water, crash? I'm exhausted. So then he goes, there's this part. Yeah. And then I'm directing. There's this part. You could do this. I don't want to do this. Marker. I said, but I'm directing. He goes, direct yourself. So that's the Baywatch part. Congressman or whatever. That's right. Yeah. And of course, the little part, one of it, is being in the middle of the ocean, falling into it. right? I'm going,
Oh.
boy, what a comfortable part. This is just great. I can't just be a congressman at a table at some like city hall convention. No, I'm in the middle of the ocean, flipping out and falling into the water, gurgling and going, "Cut."
But who rescued
I
you?
talked to the DP. I go, "How was it?" I go, "Fine, good enough." So that's my part on Baywatch. Yes.
So you didn't get to experience the glamorous part. We'll move on from Baywatch.
It was so glamorous.
I know it always looks so glamorous when you watch it, and then if you really want to be a lifeguard, that's not what's going on.
but
yeah.
Theoretically speaking, as I also just learned, it didn't all start with Happy Days. It started with Love American Style, didn't it?
Actually, before Love American Style.
Really?
It started off. I think it was called New Family in Town. The original pilot was much softer, much more like Summer 42. Remember the movie Summer 42?
I do, yeah.
And they based Potsy really on Oski. Remember Oski and Hermie?
Why? I know
Summer
those names.
42?
Yes.
Hermie, Richie, Oski, Potsy. It's kind of similar.
I get it now. I get it.
It was a much softer show, and Fonzie wasn't invented. There was no Ralph. Marion was in it. I was in it. Ron was in it. Different Joni and a different Mr. C. Harold Gould played Mr. C. And it was a very sweet show, but it was just very soft. And everyone swore it's going to sell. Well, it didn't sell. However, they played it off on Love American Style. Love American Style is usually 10-minute bits, 15-minute bits.
Right.
This is a half hour, but they played it off on Love American Style so they could get some of their money back. Then a year later, American Graffiti came out, big hit. Grease is on Broadway, big hit. They said, let's do another pilot, but let's make it more like Graffiti. Give it a little more pizzazz, a little more music, a little more edge. That's when they invented the Fonzie character. And Ralph, Donnie actually tried out for Potsy. By the way, Ron and I had auditioned again. We didn't just get the parts. They thought we might be too old. So we had to screen test this time. Anyway, but they loved Donnie so much, they created Ralph for him.
Wow.
And then thank God they created Fonzie because he bought me a house. And and continues to. But then Harold Gould wasn't available, so they got Tom Bosley, and then they wanted a new Joni. I had just done a film in Tiburon, California, Marin County, with Kay Lenz, called Lisa Bright and Dark. I played her boyfriend, and her younger sister was played by Erin Moran. And so I recommended her. I said, I just did this film with Erin Moran. You should read her. They read her and she got the part. So that's how all that came together.
Wow.
Wow, very circumstantial. And I'm so glad it did, because you ended up saving lives, and
we would not be talking today.
We would not be. Well,
I'd be at McDonald's going, would you like cheese?
You did a McDonald's commercial too, didn't you, with John Amos?
Oh yeah, I did a few of them, but I did the famous singing one. Grab a bucket and mop, scrub the bottom and top. There is nothing so clean as my burger machine.
Great.
You deserve a break today, so get up and what? Well, I don't know. At McDonald's. McDonald's.
I do know that song. That song was written by
Barry Manilow.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
It's the first time they used "You Deserve a Break." It's the first time they used it. And that commercial became commercial of the year. And I was so broke, it got me out of debt. I never had to do anything but show business since that commercial.
I gotta tell you,
they played it and they played it and they played it. It was like such a hit. And Howie Morris, Howie Morris shows? Howie Morris directed it.
Wow.
And his wife choreographed.
You struck gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
with the golden arches. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, you struck the golden arches. Absolutely. You still sound fantastic. Your voice, you even look the same. I mean, you do not age. You're an enigma.
Yeah, very lucky. We all age, trust me.
Don't worry, I'm not hitting on you. I'm just saying I'm a happily married man.
If you hit on me, I'd be further in the business, okay?
And then I saw you you went on to do Fantasy Island, Love Boat, Hanna-Barbera. You were in everything that I watched growing up.
Oh, the acting stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
we could talk about your singing some more and that gorgeous voice, the voice of an angel. Who I have argued with people, and I think I'm wrong now that I'm thinking about it. But I used to I liked to sing Blueberry Hill at a show. And I said, "Oh my God, I feel just like Potsy." And they said Richie sung it. I said, "I thought it was Potsy."
Nope, Richie said it was Richie's song.
Damn it!
I found my thrill on Blueberry. Yeah, that was always Richie.
Now I can see why. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no!
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You gotta
Thank you
catch
very
up
much.
on your
It was
happiness.
nice talking with you guys.
He's out. Way to go, Jason.
Sorry. I made it weird. I've got a habit of doing that. Do you have any, like, when you think back about the happy days? I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but what are some of your favorite memories? We just love to hear.
Well, it's so funny. There's a couple of memory platforms, and the biggest memories were not on the show, and I'll explain that later. But on the show, one of the biggest memories. You have to understand, I'm 12 years old, just a number in the world, lower middle class, and my friend and I, he was 12. He had a little printing machine. And we'd do business cards. We'd like set up the type, and we had a couple of accounts at 12 years old, literally. And his garage door was open, and all of a sudden the Beatles, she was just 17, saw her standing there, came on the radio, and the Beatles. And I'm 12 years, and the Beatles, and I'm 12 years old, number in the world. No one knows who I am, no one cares. But I was such a fan. Decades later, during the first season of Happy Days, before it became a 3-camera live audience show, it was shot like a movie. And there weren't a lot of us shooting that day, and it was really boring, really cold. Don was there, Henry was there, Ron was there, a guest star and our director. That was it. And it's just a cold day and cold on the set, and I go over to get some coffee, in this big old tin thing. Craft service is not like today, trust me. It's like Louis the electrician, who was also the bookie on the Paramount lot. Jack Klugman's bookie, our director, everyone's bookie. He was also in charge of craft service, and you don't complain to Louis. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Rotten apples, buy a coffee. You don't like the coffee? It's great. It's great. Love it. Anyway, I'm there and I get some coffee and I see this guy with kind of cool sunglasses. You see his eyes, a little kid. And I go and I see Don. I go, "Hey Don, there's this guy and this kid by the coffee machine there. This guy looks just like John Lennon." And Don goes, "Oh yeah, John Lennon came to hang out with us." It was John Lennon with his son Julian.
God.
And they spent the whole day with us.
How surreal.
You think that didn't blow my mind just a little bit? And especially when he says, "Oh, I like your singing." Me. I'm going,
Wow.
"You know who I am?" I'm like, and he spent the whole day and he did all these doodles. He did all these doodles and signed them for the crew. Not us, we're professionals. We don't do that, like idiots. They own houses now off their little leche.
Off their doodles.
Yeah, off their little doodle. Anyway, he spent a wonderful guy, so shy. Julian, just wonderfully, he was 10, he's 50 something now. That's how long ago. So that was a great, memorable moment. Another time there was a film being shot right across from us called Sextet, Mae West's last movie, who flirted with me. I went, "Oh, I felt so good."
How old were you?
23, 24.
Oh, okay. So you were out of your teens. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was, but she flirted. I went, "Ooh, Mae West. Anyway,
What an honor.
they had all these stars. I mean, Rocco. What? Anyway, all of a sudden, who comes on the set? Ringo Starr and Keith Moon.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Yeah, coming through. So we spent. I go. Yeah. So that was kind of memorable. At that point, another time, Henry Kissinger came down. At that point, but so the moments on Happy Days, we were so close. I mean, it was just. It's kind of like going to school. You just have great. It's like school days.
Yeah.
But these people made it a special day. But the greatest moments, I think, for us as a cast, it was off the show. Gary Marshall was a sports nut and a baseball crazy nut. And he put together a softball team, Happy Day softball team, because all of us were pretty much ex-athletes and pretty darn good at softball.
I thought you were in track in school. You were on the track team, right?
No, I was never on the track team. That's wrong. I played
right.
football. But when I was little,
Damn.
I was in the All-Star Little League series game too. So I was more of a baseball player. So
Okay.
he created. So anyway, we created this softball team, and then we started doing pre-games, charity games, before major games at pretty much every major stadium in the United States. Yankee Stadium, Dodger Stadium, Brewers, wherever. And those trips together as a team, that was memorable. Then we did USO tours in Germany and in Japan, Okinawa. And while we were in Germany, I'll never forget, there's Henry, Ron, myself, Don, at a 1,000-year-old castle in Würzburg.
Oh, that's so cool.
And and at the table, instead of water dispensers, there were wine dispensers. You literally went, shh. I went, big mistake for young people.
Oh, wow.
So
What
anyway,
a dream.
So anyway, I'll never forget, there we are on this outside balcony of this 1,000-year-old castle that had the original armor, Knights of Armor there. Oh, looking over the Wine River, singing Splish Splash as loud as we can. And those memories.
Those are the things that stick with you.
Those times together as a team were just incredible, memorable, incredible. And Gary felt that, it will make us closer on the set. Because if you're a team, you always watch the back of your teammates. You always watch the back. And it was true. It really had a huge effect for the show. It had a huge effect. And ego went away, and we supported each other on the set. No one got big for their britches. Everyone supported each other. A lot of that had to do with the softball team.
Like
so I would say the greatest moments of Happy Days for me was off the set with my friends and my cast.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad you shared that because that's so important. That's like doing comedy. Some of the most memorable moments aren't on stage itself, but being back bonding in the green room and telling crazy stories or exploring the town you're in together when you're on tour.
But that's what's so great about doing talk shows years ago. Hey, I'm sitting there. I don't know which was it done. One of the talk shows, and I'm sitting there in the green room, and there's this kind of shorter guy. I had an hour conversation with Truman Capote.
Oh my God!
Yeah, just me and him.
The people that you cross paths with is insane.
Georgie Jessel, Carol Channing, Pearl Bailey. I mean, on and on. I mean, in the green, it's like wow, because you had a lot. You're there for hours.
Right.
So it's just amazing. I mean, Buddy Hackett invited me to his house to give me pointers. You're young. Hey, you're a young kid. You're a young kid. You're good. And he literally cared about me. This is what is at his height too. Jan Murray, Milton Berle, and then I directed Milton Berle later on. Believe it or not.
You got to direct Milton Berle.
Red Buttons. All these iconic comics and performers, and oh my God, and I just like soaked up their experience, soaked up their intelligence.
You started your career at a beautiful time, man.
Oh, I just soaked up everything they were giving me, and everything came from the heart. Well, these people, from the heart, and all of them had it tough. Everyone, no one made it easy, not one of them. And boy, it was a huge asset to me. And a huge asset to me, not so even so much as a performer, as a writer-director. Because I did much better behind the camera even than in front of the camera. And a lot of the depth of what I looked into, what I was doing, came from them. The depth, I mean, I learned so much about the human condition and their experiences, life experiences. Because all good comedy comes out of pain. Drama's easy. Drama's easy. Comedy's hard. So
laughter is very healing.
Yeah. So these amazing talents had a huge effect on me, and to this day, in my career, my life, not only in show business but in life. So yeah, just amazing. That's why I love the talk shows. I love the game shows, because you really got to be intimate with these amazing talents. I mean, I sat and I talked. Well, I had an hour conversation with Carol Channing and her husband. I had, I'm going, especially coming from theater. It's like, oh my God, you're taking me back a long ways.
That's good.
Those
Good memories, though.
Those experiences are invaluable, and you pay that forward. You just pay it forward. I know when I directed Secret Life with Shailene Woodley for 5 years. I tried desperately with all these young kids to give back to them, to try to see the bigger picture and take advantage of where they are and learn other areas of the business, and don't get in the way of yourself, and don't let your ego overrule the practical, I tried to give back like Gary gave us, with young people, and many times I think it's made a big difference in young performers' lives. I know it did with Shailene.
That's so great, and I'm so grateful that you share this. And there's someone like you that exists that is not just full of themselves, and you're willing to share that experience and pass it on and pay it forward. I know I've worked. You encounter a lot of egos in this industry, and it gets discouraging because I'm in the comedy world. But it gets discouraging when you do that, especially some club owners and people on the industry side of it. But just to hear your stories, it brings me back to that euphoric feeling of why we got into this in the first place. You just got to love it.
You're born for it.
Absolutely.
And if you're gonna do humor about heaven, you better been to hell. Seriously,
That's a good quote. I like that.
And good comedians, it's pain. Most are very painful. They know pain better than anybody. And you get.
Wait, we
lost the sound.
We lost you. Your
Right.
sound is. Oh, there it is. Okay.
I was just saying, comedians, they've been through more pain than most people, and they get out of it through humor, and they connect, and they're great comedians. They connect because there's pain in the humor, there's relief through the humor, and there's an honest connection because everybody in that audience has been through something, and you basically as a comedian, you go, been there, done that. Let me help you get out of it. Let me help you feel better about yourself through laughing. Let's find the joyous part of ourselves, and that's the brilliance of a great comedian. But being a great comedian, Robin kills me. Robin Williams, who's one of the kindest.
You helped start your show. Helped start his career.
Yeah, well, Robin was an incredibly special human being. I mean, wow. Truly was from another planet. The depth of his heart, the pain he felt, yet the compassion he felt, and the truths he felt. He could spit out hypocrisy like nobody, and in a funny way. But yeah, and Rodney Dangerfield, I spent a lot of time with Rodney.
Did you
in
really?
fact, I was directing a film of his before he decided not to do it. But when I was hanging with Rodney, Roseanne Barr was there hanging before she was Roseanne Barr. Andrew Dice Clay was there. I mean, I spent a lot of time with these people, and I know where they come from. I know the pain they come. I mean, and boy, and these are deep people, man. There's I don't know. It's like,
Yeah.
they're very famous. They're incredibly successful, and boy, they paid the price.
They're still human
You know?
beings, though.
Exactly.
You know, the depth of their pain, and their strength to pull it into humor. And I mean, it's pretty remarkable. No, and the world doesn't know that. They don't know.
No,
what
they
it
see a
took to get there
facade,
and
and
the pain
that's
it
what
took
they
to
think
get there.
that is.
And you're a comedian. You know where your humor comes from. You know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's like off stage. I'm a neurotic mess. I suffer from anxiety greatly. I work a lot to control these nervous tics I developed in 2020. It's just like life is just really crazy. But when you're on stage or like, I love to perform, because when you're on stage, you own that audience for, even if it's just for a little bit of time, you know, you feel alive in that moment. That's also another reason I love acting, is because I get to be someone else. I get to step out of who I am and just be another version of myself that I can't really show or in my regular life.
It's almost like an
what's great
escape,
too is
really.
Yeah.
it is. But think that you could take your tics and all that, right, and actually talk about it on stage and make it funny and make people laugh.
Yes,
You know?
exactly.
Because all of a sudden, because I'm telling you, 70% of the audience is tics, and everybody, and they're all ashamed to even bring it up, but they're laughing hysterically because they're comfortable with that. They love
I have vulnerability with
it. Of it. Look at George Carlin, man. To this
Wow.
day, I mean, every flaw he has is right there, man. It's like
very honest.
Insightfulness. You know?
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. I mean, Richard Lewis is another sufferer.
Oh, Richard, yeah,
definitely.
But you know, it was fun.
I mean, you watch him; he's just amazing. He's incredible.
I met Melissa on a movie set, a very low budget movie set. I was a killer Santa Claus, so it's a character I've never got to play before. But I got to tell you, it was so cathartic.
You did a fantastic job.
Oh, you bastard! A killer Santa Claus?
A Jewish killer Santa Claus, no less, but we didn't let them know that.
Oh God.
But yeah, yeah, I never. It was so cathartic to not play the neurotic guy, to play the crazy guy for once. It was a thrill. And she played twin sisters, so I got to kill her. And then she shot me in the head. It was wonderful.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment.
Hey, it's a check.
It was. We got paid. It was a beautiful thing.
And we got to meet
What's
each
it
other.
called?
I think that was the first thing we did together, Jason. So
what was it called? Gift Wrapped and Gutted.
Yes.
Please don't watch
What's it called?
Gift Wrapped and Gutted.
Gift Wrapped and Gutted?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
we got paid. We got paid.
You
and
definitely need a new marketing.
And we met each other so that, that's.
Yeah, we both got cast in it. We didn't even need to audition. They just cast us sight unseen.
There you go.
Yeah. And is the film completed?
It is completed, unfortunately.
And where can we see this film?
Melissa?
Gift Wrapped and Gutted is where?
Oh, it's.
I would assume.
Please don't watch it as. Yeah. It was one of those movies where we had a blast doing it because it was just like kids playing around and doing a slasher film. But
the final product was.
I kept asking, was that, you want to do another take? And they're like, no, why? Why am I asking that? What a stupid question. Let's just move on.
Jason didn't know the director was Two Take Gary. That's what we always call him.
TJ Garrett?
Two Take Gary, because he always says two take.
Oh, Two Take Garrett.
So you get two takes to get it right.
New
like
Ed Wood.
A very detailed guy.
Yeah.
I've done stuff that I'm proud of, and the stuff that I've done that I'm proud of hasn't seen the light of day. But the stuff that I found to be just embarrassing and I can't promote, it has made it to Amazon Prime or.
Yeah, I think it actually was on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it was that one, but another one that he did that I know that I was in was on Amazon Prime because somebody said something and I said, "Oh, that's great. Don't watch it."
Yeah.
What was it called? What is it called?
I know I did one called Sleepover Massacre, and the other one was Pineland Murders.
You kind of get into that genre, don't you?
Yeah,
It's easy
I
to
love
fall
the
into
horror
that.
genre. I just love the scream, and I love, getting to have that fear and terrifying, sense on camera. And I've even, growing up, those were always my favorite kinds of films with a horror
Do they
thriller.
throw blood at you off camera? Like
I wish.
splat?
A lot of times the camera was off. They painted you in it. Actually, the film that we did at one point, camera went off. He said, "All right, open your mouth." He poured the fake blood in there, and it was not, sugar blood or anything like that. I don't know what it was made of, but I said, "Oh my God, this is awful."
The
And
things you
he
agree
said
to when you're
action,
filming
I
a
just let
movie.
it drool out. I said, "All right, here we go."
Ugh.
But it was
Ugh.
fun. It was fun. Like Jason said, you go and you play around and you meet great people and everything. So if I hadn't met
You meet
Jason,
a lot
I
of
wouldn't do it.
zombies.
What's that?
You meet a
Yeah.
lot of zombies.
Yeah.
You do meet a lot of zombies that way, yes.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be the next movie. It'll be a full-blown zombie apocalypse movie.
Yeah. You know what? I prefer doing theater though over movies. I mean, I love doing both. I just love acting. It's just cathartic. But what I love about theater is being able to not have to go cut, cut, cut. You can just react,
yeah.
be in the moment, and move on.
Yeah.
And you really
Yeah,
feed
yeah.
off of the audience there too.
Oh yeah. Well, it's two different, platforms, theater and
Yeah.
film. It's totally different.
Sure.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you done theater in your past?
A lot of theater. Yeah. I started in theater. And then before I went into directing film, I made sure that I had directed quite a few plays before that. I mean, I could have gone in. I said, I went back and did quite a few theater productions before directing my first film. So yeah, very important, very very primary part of my life. Yeah.
So you know the rush. Yeah, I couldn't
Oh,
imagine.
I know. Hey, dude. Hey, my first job in show business. I got kicked out of the house at 18 because I wanted to go into show business and not become a teacher or an engineer. And I didn't know what I was. Anyway, back then, and you would know this. Back then, you get Variety, and they have open auditions for summer stock. Open auditions for equity shows.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and so there was this open audition for summer stock at the Sonic Temple in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard, and on the equity union, there's an equity line and a non-equity line, and the great thing is they have to see everybody in the non-equity line. If someone's in that line, you got to see them. And you have every kook, whatever. So you're in and you're out. You're in and you're out. So you have to wait hours for the equity line. People with equity cards without agents, you wait for them. Well, I waited for hours in the non-equity line, and it's hot and sweaty, and finally I get into the Masonic Temple, which they rent, for the audition rooms and all that. And I'm hearing these voices, my boy Bill. I'm going, oh, I'm out of here. And I see reject after reject after reject coming out, especially the non-equity line, right? They give you like 4 bars. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I get in there, and there's these 4 tired-looking people behind this funky-looking table, like they just want to go home. And there was this piano player with a cigarette. You got music, yeah. And you have your Wallach sheet music, right? And I brought Maine. You coach the blues right out of the horn, Maine, da-da, right? And I'm scared shitless, scared to death. And I forget the words. So I just keep singing. I make them up. They're hysterical. They're laughing they are laughing, hysterical. I'm going, what? And at the end, they're laughing, and they go, do you dance? I go, sure. I am not only not a dancer, no ability at all to dance. Basically can sort of move, but to dance, forget about it. I go, sure. Yeah. They go, okay, go out. They're going to go outside. And one of the people there, the choreographer goes, okay. And they had all these callbacks, from the equity line, and a few from the non-equity line to go in to learn a routine. I go in there. It's some Bob Fosse. It's like 825, 844, 85, and I'm going, there is no way. There is no way. It's like I'm standing back, and so we come out of there, and people are going in and out, and going in and out, and finally they call me in. I said, screw it. I go in the front. If everyone's going left, I'm going right. It's like I just made it a comedy routine. I just effed it up. They're hysterical again. They're laughing hysterically, and they go, okay, and they go, so and so and so and so, please wait outside. Everyone else, thank you. I'm walking out. They go, Anson, yes. Could you wait outside too? Now I'm thinking, I did so bad. They want to come out to tell me to never come into, don't even think about show business. So I'm out there, and there's about 5-6 people that stayed out of this whole day, and they're getting signed contracts. It was a summer stock, the Kenley Theater. Remember John Kenley, who was Sacramento Circus and all that kind of. Anyway, this guy married his sister, took over the name Kenley, called it the Kenley Theater for Wichita, Kansas, at the Century 2 Auditorium, and they had a summer stock season. They brought in Peter Marshall, Gail Storm, all these different stars of the time. And there was a resident company that they were hiring out of Chicago, New York, and LA. So people are getting signed contracts on the spot, all excited. Then they call, I'm the last guy there. They call me in. I'm going, what? They said, you sing okay. You can't dance at all, but you got something. Would you be willing to be an apprentice? And they go, we'll pay you $50. We'll give you there's another apprentice we're going to set you up with. And you guys will drive to Wichita, Kansas. We'll pay for the gas. We're not giving an airline ticket. $25 a week for the hotel, $25 for you to live on, and we own you. And you will build the sets. You'll do everyone, and you'll be in the shows. If there's a part that you'll be in shows. And if you're good, the last show, we will sign an equity contract for you so you can get your equity card. And my words were, you're going to pay me? and that was it. That was my first job. And I spent, it was like slave labor. It was boot camp. Built sets, did the shows, came back, got my equity card, and it made me a professional for theater. So now I could stand on the equity lines.
What a cool story.
And the stories, that'll be another show. The stories after that are another show.
Well, I could talk acting with you for hours.
Guys, that's how it all began for me.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
That's incredible. That's an awesome story.
That really is. Anson, thank you so much for just taking the time and talking with us. I could sit there and talk shop with you for hours.
You're just such a cool, laid back, down to earth guy. Thank you so much.
And
you bet. Anytime.
Reminded me.
You guys are great.
Real quick, are you familiar with the Drowsy Chaperone?
Yes.
Really fun musical. I got the part in a very similar manner because I can't dance to save my life. I could barely sing, but I don't know if you could tell, but Seymour is always a dream role for me. So during the audition, they're like, we want you to sing. So I said, how do I own this? So I sung Grow for Me from Little Shop of Horrors to My Wallet and got down on the knees and really felt it. And I got the part. I got cast. They said the same thing. You can't dance, but you're going to have to spend a lot of hours of rehearsal because we're going to teach you. And it was a beautiful thing. You just reminded me of that story when you told that.
Go.
Humor goes a long way.
You bet. You bet.
Yeah, and thank you again. I really appreciate your time. Come back anytime, please. You're always welcome.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much,
thank
Anson.
you guys.
Bye.
God bless.
Have a great night. Thank
Right
you.
back at you.
Bye-bye.
See you later. What an awesome guy.
He is so cool. I mean, I always grew up watching Happy Days. I didn't watch the crap that was on TV when I was growing up because it was just that it was crap.
You're an old soul. You
I'm
know it.
definitely an old soul. Happy Days, I Love Lucy, Beverly Hillbillies, The Honeymooners.
Oh my God,
I
everything.
still watch that today.
So does
I
my
think-
wife.
So it's so cool because he is such a down to earth guy and good.
It's so good, and it's so cool that Gary Marshall was so
Was that
laid back.
because you know what though? When I see him on TV, he has that feel to him. He just seems
Gary
like
Marshall or
on
Anson
camera,
Williams?
Gary. Well, Robin Williams too, but Gary
No,
Marshall seems
Anson.
like. Oh no, well, Anson. Well.
Oh.
No, Deb. I just mean like when you said Gary Marshall, that he instilled that in them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you look at him even when he's on camera, and he just seems like a really cool, down to earth guy, even when he's performing. You know.
Yes.
So I can imagine that he was probably just a really sweet guy behind
Just
the
treat
set.
people like you want to be treated. That's all it is.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's such a great lesson that he taught them because, like he was saying, nowadays, anybody can be a star, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Back then you had to earn it, and if people weren't watching your show, you weren't going to be anybody. So you were always, helpful to those people and paid it forward. So it
Absolutely.
was really cool.
Well, Melissa, thank you. Share the names of your radio shows again, please,
Oh,
because I know they're household names. So
yeah, my household. So it's Viaggio Musicale, and
exactly.
Exactly. That's 92.1 FM Sunday evenings at 6. And then Mattinata Musicale Sunday mornings at 8 on WILM 1450. And then they're 24/7 on the podcast on the radio websites.
That's great. And Bobby, our producer, thank you for everything. And real quick, can you just put the names of her shows on the screen? No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Melissa, again, you are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. And hang out for a second, Melissa.
Sure.
Thanks. This has been Hi, I'm Jason. Tune in next Wednesday. Even though across the screen it was saying Thursday, it's Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thank you. Have a great night.
Night, everyone.